IU Warm-Up, brought to you by Ameritech Cellular and Pages. Call 1-800-MOBILE-1 for the location nearest you. Now, IU Warm-Up with John Laskowski and Ted Kitchell.
And welcome to the IU warm-up for the 97-98 season. It is upon us, and tonight's first game will be against the Athletes in Action. They're visiting here at Assembly Hall to take on the Hoosiers. Hello, everybody. John Laskowski. Good to have you with us, and I'll be joined by Ted Kitchell as usual, but a new face on this year's warm-up show, Norm Ellenberger. You've seen him on the post-game show, but he's here before the game.
What a face. If that's a new face, I've tricked you, I'll tell you that.
All right, fellas, let's talk about last year. 22-11, 9-9 in the Big Ten. Not the way Indiana wants to play ball.
Well, certainly not, and so let's don't talk about it anymore.
You got to touch on just for a minute.
Well, it ended up more of a disaster. We had kids that ran into a wall that didn't finish the season very strong, and our freshmen, Charlie Miller, got injured early in the year and never did really come around, and we were slow, and how much further do I need to go? And it just didn't turn out to be an Indiana season.
Yeah, I think that's the thing everybody remembers is how Indiana ended up. But if you do remember, they did have some good play at the beginning of the year. They started out 6-0, won the NIT, a championship. Some of the young kids had not really won a championship here at Indiana. I thought that was important. 14-1 before the Big Ten season started, with the lone loss coming to a very, very good Kentucky team. So there were some highlights, but obviously everybody remembers the Big Ten season. We didn't get a Big Ten championship, nor did we do well in the NCAA. Those are the things that people want to improve in, and I'm sure Coach Knight most of all wants to improve on those 2 points.
Senior leadership will be very important. Andre Patterson, number 45, back for his senior year. Here's what he did last year.
I thought Andre really started out the year very, very well. He played very well against Duke. Obviously, he had a 39-point game. And in the Big Ten, he still averaged over 13 points a game. I think we've got used to expecting so much because we feel like he has so much talent. He was hampered a little bit by an injury last year. He's a guy that's going to have to be more mentally tough. He's going to have to provide more minutes and more big buckets for Indiana when they need them.
It'll be Patterson's last year, so we'll watch him. He's a good outside shooter, but it's just consistency that he needs to work on. Let's talk about Jason Collier, Norm. He had a freshman year, now looking for a good year this year.
Jason started out really well, and he was the kid that we were just talking about that ran into that wall around the middle of February, maybe even before that, and didn't improve as you would think a young guy would improve. But I want you to know that he has worked harder than any kid that we have had all summer and on into this fall, and he is in better condition than he's ever been in his life. He's strong, and while he's not going to go dominate the game with a lot of great inside play, you're going to see a lot better Jason Collier.
He said he wanted to be in better condition this year too, Ted.
Yeah, I think that's the one important thing. I thought that, like Norm, he was the guy that really hit the wall. Early in the year, you'll remember he was diving on the floor, going after loose balls, and at the end of the year, it was almost dragging himself up and down the floor. So I think the conditioning will really be a key factor for Jason.
A.J. Guyton had a great freshman year. He's a leading scorer on Indiana's team, 13.6. He's now a sophomore.
Well, it's let's don't have one of those sophomore jinx. This happens a lot of time with a player that comes in and has that great freshman year, and he has shown no indications of that in practice, because when you talk about Andre and his great ability, Guyton has every bit as much ability in the same area and can really play the game. What Coach Knight's looking for is a little bit more leadership, taking the ball to the offense and getting out and moving this team up and down the court with a lot more speed. So that'll be something to look forward to.
One thing about AJ, I thought he had a little easier last year because not quite as much was expected of him as was Collier, Patterson. He kind of snuck up on everybody. He was a guy all of a sudden that was averaging 10, 12, 13 points a game. He had a couple really big games at Michigan against Purdue. This year we'll see how he can stand the pressure when it's expected from you game after game, and most importantly expected from you from Coach Knight.
Now let's take a look back at the Big Ten standings, brought to you by Tire Barn Warehouse with the guaranteed low prices on Michelin tires. Here's how the Big Ten Conference ended up last year. Minnesota on top, made it all the way to the Final Four.
If you'll remember, Indiana played that Minnesota team very, very tough, even had a 7-point lead or something like that with less than a minute to go here at Indiana. A game that I really thought was a turning point for that Indiana team early in the Big Ten season.
And there's the second group, 9-9 Indiana, at the head of that list. Indiana looking for better things this year. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the new faces here at Indiana. Indiana has come onto the floor for their warm-ups of this 97-98 season to a very nice crowd. It's been a long summer. This crowd looking for some better things too. All right, let's talk about some new guys here at Indiana, fellas. Luke Recker, Mr. Basketball, first up.
Well, the main reason why we're a lot better basketball team right at this moment than we've been for quite a while is our new people, and Recker is only a freshman on the paper that you're looking at there. You know, when you think about all the basketball he's played all summer, he's played in every major all-star game, he's been overseas, he's just played forever. Our fans are going to love Luke Recker. He's fearless.
He's a wonderful athlete. You can see he can really get up in the air. He's only about 6'5", 6'6". So he can really get around the floor and just has a wonderful athletic ability and really has a good sense on the floor.
A new addition, junior college transfer Rob Turner, 6'4", 200 pounds. Again, lots of experience.
Well, we haven't gone to the junior college ranks for recruiting very often at Indiana, but when we have, well, we've come up with some dandies. And here's an excellent guard prospect. He'll play a lot. He is a pretty good shooter, but he's as fearless as Recker is. And he can play inside, he can play outside and handle the ball. He's probably our second best ball handler up to Guyton. And this young man is going to give us some real depth.
He's got toughness to him too, doesn't he, Norm?
Yes, absolutely.
He's a real tank inside, and I think the one thing the junior college kids will bring to the team is a little bit of maturity. They've played some college basketball. They're used to being in there against tough defenders, and I think the maturity will really help the rest of the team.
All right, 23 Turner, watch for him. William Gladness, also new, 6'8", 220 pounds, and he comes to Indiana for his first year.
And he can run all night. I mean, if anybody that we've had in recent years that can handle the ball at the wing, go inside, shoot it. It's still a question on how good a shot he's going to be from the 15, 18-foot line, but man, can he run the court. And he can also get down and play defense. Another junior college player, he's a little bit older, gives us some maturity that's, looking for maybe a starter.
I think one of the most important points is not only how many minutes he's going to play a lot for Indiana, but I think playing against Andre Patterson in practice, I mean, the better the competition is in practice, the better you're going to be in a game situation.
Kirk Haston is 6'10", 225 pounds, Mr. Basketball from the state of Tennessee, and he loves to play the game.
One of the best kept secrets around. You know, it's not going to take long for everybody to fall in love with this guy also. I know in watching our practices and listening to Coach Knight, what he thinks of him, that this guy is a can't miss. He'll redshirt, you know, they don't want to waste a year on him, want to have 4 good big years out of him, but there is our future right there in that young man.
I thought in watching him, lads, he's got a wonderful feel for the game, especially down along the low post, and like Coach Norman said, he's going to really be super.
All right, coming up next, we'll update you on some of the other sports here at IU. We'll talk to the head coach of the #1 ranked soccer team, Jerry Yeagley. TTV4 is where to be for the best in NBA action. This Saturday, your Indiana Pacers travel to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. The action gets underway at 7:30 right here on TTV4, Indiana's sports station. Now it's time to get caught up on all the sports action here at Indiana. Tonight's IU Spotlight is brought to you by Arby's. Love food, think Arby's. Let's talk about cross country. Marius Backett has been voted the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and a superb effort on his part for this year's cross-country team. Men's golf finished second in the Persimmon Ridge tournament, and next week they'll be at the Nelson. We'll have an update on that tournament after they finish. Women's volleyball finished 16-9. They play this Friday at Iowa, this Saturday at Minnesota. Their season still going on. And number one soccer played number two. Indiana defeated Stanford last week 2-1 to finish 18-0, the best start ever in soccer. And with us now, Coach Jerry Yeagley, the head coach of that number one soccer team. And tell me what 18-0 means. That's hard to do.
Laz, I think you remember back in '75, you were in one of those teams. I think it was 18-0 as well. First time in our history, first time in 25 years that a team has been able to do that. And these fellows don't realize what they've accomplished now, but they will later. However, anything less than you know what is going to be not good enough. So we've really got to buckle down and get going.
Tell us what you think the strengths of this year's soccer team are.
I think balance, Laz, is a key. We have great senior leadership and Chris Klein and Caleb Porter. We have excellent scoring. We've not been shut out one time. And we have, again, balance in our scoring. So they can't key on just one player. And our depth is exceptional as well. We have 4 or 5 players who have been starters on this team who can come in off the bench and we don't miss a lick.
Let's talk about the Big Ten tournament coming up, and it's in friendly confines, I understand.
Right here, Laz, right here at IU. And that'll be not this weekend, but next weekend. We have a bye in the first round. It's a top seed. We'll play the winner of Wisconsin and Penn State. Both of them have been very tough for us in the past. We'll play that game on Saturday and then hopefully be in the championship game on Sunday.
And then shortly after that, the NCAA tournament starts. Tell us about that.
Well, we hope to be playing at home here. If we're the number one seed in the tournament and if we do all right in the Big Ten, hopefully we will be. We should be able to play at home as long as we keep winning. And I hope that's for 3 straight weeks. And then it's the Final Four at Richmond, Virginia, 12th and the 14th of December.
Coach, we want to wish you the best of luck. We'll all be following you, and we'll give you an update to these fans on how that soccer team does.
Thanks a lot, Laz.
All right, stay with us. When we come back, Coach Knight returns to IU warm-up and talks about how we'll use tonight's game to evaluate the team. We'll bring you comments from the post-game press conference. Now let's check our St. Vincent's Hospital's injury update to see who may be at less than 100% for tonight's game. The only injury right now, Luke Jimenez suffered a broken nose in practice. He'll have a guard there, but he's going to be on the floor playing today. And now it's time for Chalk Talk with Bob Knight.
Chalk Talk with Bob Knight is brought to you by the company you count on wherever life takes you, General Motors.
Is one that we always look forward to, and we look forward to it for a number of reasons. First of all, the players are pretty good players that we're playing against. They've all had good college experience, and with the case of 2 or 3 guys, they've either played in the CBA or the NBA. Their roster varies from one year to the next, and yet there are a couple of kids tonight that we've played against during each of the last 4 or 5 years. What we like about the game from a basketball standpoint is that they challenge us, they run the floor well, they're an offensively oriented team, they're looking to get the ball down the court quickly, Last night, as an example, in playing against Maryland, Athletes in Action took a total of 69 shots, and 37 of them were threes. All right, what does this mean to us from the standpoint of our defensive work? Well, first of all, we've got to get down the floor quickly, and we've got to pick up quickly. We not only have to pick up the ball, but we've got to pick up shooters. They had 2 shooters last night, each taking 12 three-point shots. If we're slow getting down, if our communication is poor, then they're going to get a lot of three-point shots. Now, the one thing that they don't do that we have to simulate in practice, or perhaps in our next game against the Australian Outback team, is look at our inside defense. Our inside defense in the next game, I think, will be more normal than defense tonight. We're going to put our emphasis defensively on taking away the three-point shot, on making Athletes in Action set up the ball and run a half-court offense against pressure. Now, that's what we're going to try to do, and the interesting thing for us will be how well can we do that. Usually, in our preparation, we have a very thorough study of individual traits, what the team likes to do best, what it's capable of doing, what switches we can make. We don't plan to do any switching at all in tonight's game, as an example. We want to see from a defensive standpoint just exactly how carefully our rules and principles of defensive play are followed. Our rules are based on the location of the basketball and the position of the man you happen to be guarding. We try to pressure the ball when we're in a position to play the ball or to play the next pass removed from the ball, and then we try to really help on the ball when our man is at least 2 passes removed from the ball or on the opposite side of the floor from the ball. Sounds pretty simple, but in execution, it's never proven to be quite that simple. So from my standpoint, I want to see those kids who can best follow our rules. Those players of ours that are in the best position most often defensively in this ball game tonight. Not necessarily taking away something that this team likes to do, other than getting down and trying to make it difficult to get good three-point shots. Offensively, I think that early you always have a tendency to be a little bit anxious. You get carried away with things. Every kid tries to do a little bit more than he should. Each kid maybe is concentrating on trying to score. We'll look for slippage in what we've worked on offensively. Do we maintain good spacing? Do we just kind of mill around, or do we set good screens and have good cuts? What kind of interplay do we have with the players? Communication. How good is our communication on defense? How good is our communication on offense? This is really, for us, not a test determined by winning or losing the ball game. It's a test for us to determine just what we've absorbed to this point in practice, just how well we can go from the practice floor to the game floor and execute the things that are important to us, both offensively and defensively. Athletes in Action, as I said earlier, has always been a team that's provided us with some very interesting and good things to work against at both ends of the floor. We've enjoyed the relationship, the association with this organization very much over the years, and we look forward to a game tonight that will show us a lot about ourselves, that will show us just what we've accomplished to date in practice, if anything. We certainly hope there are some things we have accomplished, obviously. Where our greatest areas of concentration must be in terms of the development of our team. Is it with our defense? Is it with our offense? Is it a combination of both? How well are we going to be able to get up and down the floor? And that's back to a point that I made earlier. AIA has always challenged the teams they've played with their running game and their ability to move up and down the floor. And that's as big a part of the game of basketball as there is. Getting back on defense and taking away easy scoring opportunities. So that will be the one thing that we're going to concentrate on tonight from the standpoint of any preparation or any talk that we've had with our players beforehand. So you can watch for that. And then let's just see how well we feel we work at those things that we've been doing for the last, since the 18th of October, working toward an opportunity to see and grade ourselves in a game like tonight.
And each Sunday on TTV4, you'll have 2 chances to catch the latest from the coach on the Bob Knight Show. This season, Coach Knight speaks his mind at 10:30 a.m. and again at 10:30 p.m. on TTV4, Indiana's sports station. It's back. It's better than ever. It's the
So somebody's obviously made a mistake.
We'll see if we can get that corrected. All right, the season is upon us. Our first exhibition game against the Athletes in Action. What do you look for tonight?
Well, I look for the guys to be excited. They no longer have to look at one another in practice. I know that's what I always got excited about, getting out. They'll have a much bigger crowd than they're used to, especially for some of the new guys. I'm sure they'll be a little nervous out there early. There's one thing with Athletes in Action. They're a very good team. They've added some big strength inside, but they do like to shoot the three-pointer, so Indiana's going to have to do a good job, as Coach Knight mentioned, of getting back and then recovering out to that three-point shooter, because they really like to take it and can knock it down.
They're an up-tempo team, and what I've seen in practice, Ted, Indiana's been a lot more up-tempo this year than ever before.
Yeah, in watching a little bit of film of Indiana, I noticed that Indiana not doing much around the post. They want to get the ball off the board, get it down the floor, keep the floor high, keep it spread as far as keeping it high, keeping the offense up above the free throw line, giving guys like A.J. Guyton, Luke Recker, guys that can handle the ball and get to the basket, giving them an opportunity to use that floor, use their ability, and get to the basket and get fouled.
4 seniors on this year's team. Senior leadership, always very important to Indiana.
I think it's very important. Last year, I think that's the thing that we really lacked. Maybe conditioning, as Coach Ellenberger talked about, but also the leadership. In a lot of tough games last year, in games that were settled at less than 5 points, Indiana was 7-5. Not a very good record for Indiana.
It's going to be a great season. Be sure to stay tuned for the game and join us on the wrap-up show. So long for now.
IU Warm-Up, brought to you by Ameritech Cellular and Paging. Call 1-800-MOBILE-1 for the location nearest you.
At most schools, a 22-11 record and a berth in the NCAA tournament is reason to celebrate. But Indiana is not most schools. At most schools, a 22-11 record and a berth in the NCAA tournament is reason to celebrate. But Indiana is not most schools. the Hoosiers measure success in Big Ten championships and NCAA championships. Forgotten is last season's preseason NIT title and a 14-1 start. What is remembered is the 8-10 finish. Tonight brings a new season, new players, and renewed hope. We are live from Assembly Hall in Bloomington as Indiana starts its 97-98 season with its first exhibition game against the Athletes in Action. Hello everybody, John Laskowski and Ted Kitchell. Last year's season ends on a sour note. Indiana lost the first game of the tournament. Things are looking different for this year.
Yeah, not only lost, but they got beat pretty handily, and they had started out so strong in the NIT preseason. Andre Patterson had a great NIT, scoring 39 against Duke. Let's see this year if a better conditioned team, better conditioned athletes can't finish a little better, a little bit more like the Indiana fans are used to.
And speaking of Andre Patterson, he's expected.
You know, he really started out good. He had 39 against a very, very good Duke team. He just needs to be more consistent. He needs to ask more of himself, and they definitely need more leadership out of him if this team's going to be successful.
And now let's take a look at tonight's fueling factors brought to you by Sunoco. Come to the sun.
For the Athletes in Action, the three-point shooting is something very, very important. They take over 26 a game. They make 10 a game. They average 41% from the field. Their opponent's points, they give up 87 points a game. They're going to have to do a better job defensively if they expect to win here in Bloomington. For Indiana, field goal percentage last year, Indiana shot a miserable .438 from the field. Their opponents only shot .422, but you got to shoot better than that if you expect to win more games in the Big Ten. And conditioning, Coach Norm Ellenberger talked to us earlier. He said he feels like conditioning, a better conditioned team is going to be most important to this Indiana Hoosier team.
When we come back, we'll have the starting lineup. Will Charlie Miller be in it? You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Look at senior Charlie Miller. It's his last year, and see how he affects this year's team. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Sagamore Health Network and for the Athletes in Action.
Got David Wood, 6'7", along with Greg Colbert, Adderley, Landon Hackham, a guy that you saw play a couple years ago from Miami of Ohio, an outstanding shooter, a guy you can't leave alone, and David Daniels. For Indiana, Jason Collier starts his second year. Charlie Miller starts at the other forward, along with William Gladness inside, one of the new junior college transfers. Luke Recker will start at one guard, along with freshman of the year, A.J. Guyton.
When we come back, we'll have the opening tip. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Back at Assembly Hall, Indiana's first game will be against the Athletes in Action. They've just been introduced. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. Another exhibition game November 11th, and Ted, a big game November 14th, the opener against Temple in Philadelphia.
And you'll find a lot out about yourself playing a John Chaney coach Temple team, a team that will play a lot of 2-3 matchup zone. Very, very difficult to find open shots against.
Right after the trip to Hawaii, they Notre Dame on Wednesday, the big game with Kentucky up at the RCA Dome. Jimmy Cruz, Evansville team, and then the Classics. Big game at California in Oakland. They'll play San Francisco. And the Big Ten opener, New Year's Eve, against Iowa. We'll have that game for you.
Are you bringing the champagne to celebrate the
Let's
New
see
Year?
how we do first, all right? Let's start 1-0. Coach Bob Knight is in his 27th year now here at Indiana. 598 victories, 208 defeats. And he has won his 700th game. There's Chuck Badger, coach of the Athletes in Action. As you can see, Coach Knight giving him a warm welcome here to Bloomington Assembly Hall. A presentation being made. There's Chuck. And Coach Knight is being honored for his 700th college victory, 702-58. And he's presented with a game ball in which he won his 700th game. All right, we've talked about the change in conditioning. This is a better conditioned team, and I think, Ted, that's been one of the reasons Indiana wore down not only the second half of games, but the second half of the season.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I mean, we're used to seeing the teams that have been successful over the years, teams that usually got stronger throughout the game, and especially at the end of the year, usually made a very good run into the NCAA tournament. This team, I don't know if it was because they were a little younger, but mentally and physically, they really looked worn down last year. They got in the Colorado game, did not look good at all, and I'm sure that's one thing that Coach Knight, he talked to Tim Garl about, and they really worked on in the preseason. And Norm Ellenberger said he's never seen a team in better shape than this team so far.
A.J. Guyton, Indiana's leading scorer last year. There's William Gladness, 6'8" junior college transfer. He'll wear number 30. And Luke Recker also starting for Indiana. He's a true freshman, Mr. Basketball. Our officials from the Big Ten Conference, Steve Welmer, Jerry Petro, and Mark Masario. And we're underway. Athletes in Action have the tip. And we'll watch the matchup. Charlie Miller is in the starting lineup for Indiana. So a little experience and a couple new faces for the Hoosiers.
One thing you'll notice, Indiana's going to have a big height advantage out at the guard position. You can see Charlie Miller and Luke Recker much bigger than the guards they're going to be playing against for Athletes in Action.
Hackham's 5'10". Adderley is 6'3".
Hackham and Adderley both really will be able to shoot the three-pointer. Adderley a little bit stronger than Hackham, but Hackham is a guy that's very quick and can really light it up if you give him a second.
This is David Wood, number 52. 6'7", 230, finished the year last year on the NBA Milwaukee Bucks team. So he's just coming out of the NBA. I talked to Sharm Sherman before the game today. He told him Dave got a call today about 4 o'clock inviting him to play in Europe, and he turned it down. He decided he wanted to stay here with the AIA team. So he hits both free throws. The Athletes in Action have the first 2 points of the game. Here's Gladness on top, number 30. Gladness tries for the post, really fights for the ball. Look at the strength there in those hands. And a foul is called. I like what I saw the first time there.
I like it too. It wasn't a very good pass by AJ. You can see the Athletes and actually get a hand in there, knock it away, but Gladness continued to go after and fight. Good hands to come up with it and got the foul.
Charlie Miller will inbound. It's a non-shooting foul.
One thing I think you'll notice is you're not going to see Recker comes right in. He's used to playing in front of the big crowd. He's not nervous. Stepped right up there and hit the first shot of the game.
Use that height advantage, about 10 feet right in the lane.
We talked about Indiana have definitely a size advantage against the guards.
Ray Colbert, 6'7", 210, takes that shot over Collier. And again, 4-2, the Hoosiers trail.
Bigger, stronger Jason Collier really needs to get down and use his body inside. Keep a body against.
Collier pops out and hits that jumper.
One thing you'll notice, Collier on offense, I think Coach Knight's going to let him drift around a little bit more this year. Last year, he really focused on trying to get him to post inside. Not very comfortable in there.
Hackham, a good shooter from the outside, misses his first three-pointer. And this team is not afraid to take three-pointers. They make over 10 a game. So you'll see them putting them up. They shoot about 25 a game. Out of bounds remains to Athletes in Action.
It's my kind of team.
Andrew Adderley is 22. He's actually a forward at 6'3". The other guard is David Daniels, 5'11". So that's why Indiana has the height advantage there. Here's Colbert again. He just muscled right in on Collier.
You can see he really knows how to use his body inside. Now that's a guy that you're not going to let. You're going to have to beat him to the ball, not let him catch it. Once he gets it inside, able to handle it, use his body, and score on you.
Man-to-man defense by the athletes in action. Indiana in their passing game, motion offense. Gladness follows his shot. Guyton gets the rebound just off and now tipped in, both Collier and Gladness right there.
A couple offensive rebounds. Good to see Indiana on the board. I think that's one thing conditioning will help with too. Rather than standing and watching the board, you get in there, pick up some easy rebounds.
Game is tied at 6, but not for long. That's a three-point shot by Adderley. He's averaging 12 a game. He's a 45% shooter from out there.
Notice how Indiana takes the ball out of bounds very, very quickly. They're going to get a blocking foul on Wood inside. Good cut by Luke Recker, making a good strong cut. But Indiana trying to run the ball up the floor as quickly as possible. Take a look at it inside. You see a good strong cut, good screen by Gladness. You can see sticks a knee into him, tries to get the foul, but definitely did not have the position right there.
Long outlet by Recker. Cuts right back into the lane. Short jumper just off.
A little quick on the shot right there. Didn't go up as confident that time as he did the last time.
There's Colbert again on the post.
You can see they really like to put 4 guys outside and just pass it around as quick as possible. Try to get the open shot and they'll throw it back out.
Good pass inside, missed. Indiana with the board. Miller has it. 3 on 2, now 4 on 2. Guyton underneath. Gladness with the layup.
Great pass by Guyton. Guyton in a great position right there. He could either pull up for the little 10-foot jump shot. He decided to give it up. William Gladness, a nice job of catching and putting the ball in.
Collier stepped around this time as Colbert not able to get the ball. Turnover. Here comes Guyton again. Bounce pass. Gladness. I bet Gladness is happy to see Guyton out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, William Gladness looks awfully good. I mean, not only is he big and strong, mature, but he gets up and down the floor.
This 20-second timeout is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. There you see our Big Ten scoring leaders from last year. Andre Woodridge from Iowa led it all with 20 points. Garris was second, and Austin back for Purdue at 17. Lasicki is gone, and Bullock is back at Michigan. Andre Patterson, 13.6 is Indiana's.
Take a look at this replay. Nice job of Guyton bringing the ball up the floor. You can see Gladness did a nice job of going underneath the basket, freeing himself up, getting away from the defense. A.J. Guyton last year scored 400 points, but also remember that he had over 100 assists, had over 100 rebounds. Only one other guy in Indiana history to do that, and that was Isaiah Thomas. If he can do things like Isaiah Thomas, I think everybody from Indiana will be very pleased.
Indiana with a 1-point lead. Adderley takes it in. He's a big, strong guy, too. 6'3", 200. Plays the forward position. He's got 5 points.
He's a guy that he gets a shoulder by you. He's going to really bully his way in there as he did right there, and he's got a very good touch.
Lob pass. Collier rolls off the rim, stays with it. Can't get it twice. He had a good chance. Here comes a 3-on-2. Adderley will take it from the outside. In and out. Charlie Miller has it.
Good thing there, though, is he didn't get the shot blocked. Last year, I think Collier might have got that shot blocked. I think his strength, he continued to go after it.
Gladness wide open at the lane and misses it. A couple good shots for Indiana last 2 possessions.
He's got a wonderful shot right there. If you want to learn how to shoot the basketball, watch that kid. Hackham can really fill it up. I remember a couple years ago when he played for Miami of Ohio, they played in the Indiana Classic. I watched him shoot it and very, very impressed.
Recker all the way, a little off balance and just can't get it to go.
Good job of getting inside. He's got to be more under control, though, as Hackham takes it to the other end, catches Indiana, knocked back defensively, and he's going to get the foul on Guyton, and he also got the basket.
5 straight points now for Hackham in about 20 seconds.
This is what Coach Knight talks about as far as why quick shots are bad, because they create problems on the other end of the floor if you don't make them. You can see Hackham just does a nice job using his body, little quick release in there, rolls it up on the board, but it always started by a bad shot on this end of the floor. Bad shots are not only not going to go in, but they create a lot of problems for you on the other end of the floor.
Hackham converts the 3-point play, and they lead by 7. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. And now with their biggest lead, it's 17-10. Tonight's Big Ten Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of ESPN+, and the use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this broadcast without the express written consent of ESPN+ is prohibited. So a nice run by the athletes in action. Full court pressure now, 8-0 in the last 1 minute and 14 seconds to gain this 7-point lead. Indiana breaks it. Guyton down to
good hands.
Recker, off to Gladness.
Great pass by Guyton, but even a better touch pass by Luke Recker. We've all heard about how he can score points and how well he jumps and everything, but being able to pass the basketball like that is wonderful.
6 now for Gladness as Collier hits the deck. The ball went off his foot and out of bounds to the athlete.
Indiana's going to have to get somebody either down in there to fake at him, to make him pick that ball up. Otherwise, he's just going to get it and kind of back his way in there a little bit like a Charles Barkley does until he gets close enough where he feels like he can make that little jump shot. Oh, good hands by Recker. Excellent defensive stance right there. He fights through the screen, reaches with it, just tips it away. He continues to do things like that. He's going to play a lot.
Watch that last pass.
Yeah, take a look at the touch pass. Just boom. See how he didn't really catch it and bring it down. He just caught it. He knew where the guy was and just boom, right there.
David Daniels on the baseline with that jump shot.
It's a high percentage. Indiana scoring plenty of points, but they're not doing a very good job on the defensive end of stopping the athletes in action so far.
Collier outside jumper is off. Good rebound that time. Colbert went high for it. Now another fast break.
You see Hackam pulling up. He's looking to pull up that one a little longer and get Woods for the push underneath. The one thing about Collier shooting the outside shot, he's an excellent shooter. The one negative is obviously it takes him away from the basket, and his offensive rebounds will definitely be down.
That foul on Wood is second. There's a look at Collier. He's learned a lot, he said, over that first year, how he had to play a little tougher and is in better shape. Coach Knight, Jerry Petro.
Oh,
what a pass. Recker to Collier.
He really passed the basketball. Excellent job. I mean, and that's a long pass. That is not an easy pass to make at this level. People are so quick, they'll pick that pass off. But not only was it directed where it needed to be, but also had plenty on it.
Charlie Miller with the steal. He stopped for a jumper. Off, Guyton tries to tap it, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, that's one where Charlie Miller, I think it's good to see him stop and take the jump shot as we take a look at Luke Recker making the pass right here. Right here, he knows where Jason's at. Look at him make the strong pass, boom. Excellent pass by Luke Recker right there. Charlie Miller on the last play needs to get that ball to A.J. Guyton in the middle of the floor and make something happen.
Cross-court pass. Adderley on the drive. He dished it off and counted a foul on a push from behind. Looks like it'll be on Guyton.
Very good ball movement by AIA. Now this is a team that's not just been playing for 18 days. They've just not been practicing here. Excellent pass right here. You can see the push by AJ. Excellent call. Colbert does a nice job of getting the ball up on the glass. Very, very strong. It's a team that has played together for quite some time.
5-2 is their record. They've beaten Evansville. They beat Michigan on Monday night. They've lost the last two nights. Michigan State beat them on Tuesday. Maryland last night beat them, so the second defeat in a row.
In a 2-3 zone now. This is something Indiana's going to have to get used to playing against. When they go out to Temple on the 14th, John Chaney will play one of the best 2-3 matchup zones that you have ever seen. Not only is it hard to score against, but I think it's even hard to get shots against. It's something that you have to be very, very patient against.
Lob pass is tipped away. Recker tried to get that to Gladness.
That's not a very good pass. The only time you want to throw that pass is if a guy is coming in to dunk it. Just to try to throw it over the defense, I think it's a very, very risky pass, one that Coach Knight, I'm sure, said something to him about.
Shot clock is down to 4. Guyton had to let it go to avoid the shot clock violation, and Recker fought for it. It'll be Indiana's ball. Nice to see A.J. Guyton recognize that the shot clock is running down under 5, willing to step up and take the jump shot. Guyton saved it. He didn't have to. It wouldn't have been an over and back, according to Steve Wellman.
Good cut inside. Missed the shot, but an outstanding cut by Jason Collier against the zone.
Adderley takes it right in and split the Indiana defense for that layup.
Indiana just continues to let the athletes in action get all the way to the basket. They're an excellent three-point shooting team, but so far they've gotten a lot of layups inside.
7 now for Adderley, and the lead is 11. Inside to Collier. Here's a bump from behind. David Daniels picks that up. Look at Daniels. He went to Colorado Christian, a '93 graduate, his 5th year.
Take a look at the athletes in action running on the break. You can see now, watch Adderley gets all the way to the basket. Nobody really decides that they're going to step in there and take a charge. He splits right through the middle. Indiana, very poor defense.
Miller's got it into Collier. Still in the zone. Yep,
back in the 2-3 zone. We talked about Collier making an excellent cut as Charlie Miller throws it right to Adderley. He's going to foul him right there. Nice job by Adderley, taking the ball to the hole. Very, very strong.
Charlie hit the backboard on that play as well, and he is down.
Yep. Okay, just stay there. You cut it a little bit. Just stay there. You get top.
Take a look. You can see Adderley's going to take it. Charlie obviously knows he's going to get fouled here. Oh, man. He really, you watch, he gets up and hits the underneath part of the backboard. The one positive is that it's got a pad on the bottom of it. I think that's a plus for Indiana. But still, that's that backboard not going to give much.
Trainer Tim Garl right out there to take a look at him. Coach Knight brings the team over. This is the kind of game we expected out of the athletes in action, though. Very quick, moving up and down the floor, and Indiana's shown some signs of some good plays, but still trail by 11. We're going to take a break. It's 25-14, the athletes lead. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Back at Assembly Hall, Indiana trails it by 11. And let's take another look at Charlie Miller as he was getting back on defense.
This is something you or I never had to worry about, Laz, hitting our head on the backboard. You can see the problem is he gets his back to the backboard. He doesn't see it coming, and you can see the real plus was that I think the majority of the blow was taken by the pad, but I'm sure he did hit his head a little bit on the board. He did get up, walk off the floor, holding a towel to his head.
There you can see where he hit the backboard. Dislodged a little bit from the what you're trying to protect there, but he did walk. He had a towel on the back of his neck, walk to the locker room, and he'll be looked at there. Rob Turner, 23, will get his first look as a Hoosier. 6'4", 200 pounds, a junior college transfer out of Texas. Adderley hits the second free throw. The lead now 13 points. And this crowd looking for some offense.
Athletes in action back to the man-to-man. Kind of changing defenses. We'll see how this young Indiana team recognizes the changing defenses and what type of offense they're going to run against each one.
Gladness to Turner. Collier.
See the defense or the offense is way down inside. Everybody kind of packed on top of one another. Nice job by Recker to bring it out. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Spread it out a little bit, see if they can't get a little better shot. Shot clock down to 3. Great pass inside by Gladness to a cutting Recker.
4 points now for Recker, all the way down to 3 seconds before that shot was taken. Guyton right up on Daniels. He can't really do much.
The one thing I don't think AJ has to worry about him going around him with his quickness. Good step in by Turner. Going to get called for the travel right there. That's a position I think they'd like to see Rob Turner go ahead and bring the ball up the floor. We take a look at the last action on the other end. Shot clock running down. You can see it. Nice cut by Recker inside. And see how quickly he catches it and gets it up on the board. A lot of times guys will catch it, put it down on the floor, get that shot blocked. You just catch, put it up real quick. Nice play by the two young players.
Adderley outside. Passes up on that shot. Good recovery by the Indiana defense. 54 is William Cunningham, and jams it. He's 6'11", 250.
He is all a 250. He is strong.
He played at Temple last year, so Indiana will not have to play him next week. But they do have to look at him tonight. 13-point lead for the Athletes in action.
See, Indiana's offense gets real tight to the lane. The one thing they really want to work on is staying high above the free throw line and staying spread out, so there's a lot of room for a guy like A.J. Guyton to cut in there, or that time like Recker coming across there, there's a chance for him to catch the ball and get down the lane and get to the basket.
Especially with a new group of guys, Ted, it seems they all want to get closer and closer to the basket. Really defeats the purpose.
And the one thing, if you ever get here early enough, you'll see the managers out on the floor taking tape up. And the reason that tape is on the floor is so people can recognize where they are offensively. And coach always wants people outside of that tape. Leave that lane open so people can move inside it. You can get down inside and create things.
Gladness popped that ball back outside and then went right to post up. That's a good move for a young player. Normally guys dribble around, try to shoot on their own. Not at Indiana though.
Gladness really does a lot of positive things. Whenever Indiana has done something good tonight, it seems that William Gladness has been a part of it here. Nice job here of stepping away. He hasn't got his jump shot to fall, but he draws the foul.
He's from West Memphis, Arkansas. Went to West Memphis High School there, and then went to Carl Albert Junior College in Oklahoma. He's a JC All-American. There you see his stats from last year. And he's the oldest player on Indiana's team. He's 24. He'll be 24 years old in January. So he's been playing for a long time, and just what Indiana needed was some experience. It's that free throw. Lead cut down to 11. And the crowd now looking for some defense. The offense starting up a little bit. Recker slips. Guyton tries to help him out. Here's Cunningham again on Collier. Jump hook is off. Boy, Colbert right there for a big board.
That's the guy that's really hurting him inside. He's big, strong. I don't think Cunningham has as good a touch. You can see he dunked the first one. I think that's the shot that the Athletes in Action would like to see him taking. But Colbert has been a real problem. He's very strong, very crafty inside. You can see the shot coming up. He's going to throw it long off the board. Nobody gets a body on him. You can see he slips right in there. Great hands, picks it off the board. Nice shot fake, uses the body, gets it up off the board, has a chance at the three-point play.
Indiana will make several substitutions. A good look at Colbert, 6'7", 210, and pretty strong. Patterson, Jimenez, Richardson, and Michael Lewis all come in. Rob Turner will be the only one to stay, so all the starters are out now. Jimenez mentioned his broken nose in practice, looks pretty good. Doesn't have the face guard on right now. Full court press and a foul. 14, Ryan Hoover in the game. That name sounds familiar. Remember him last year at Notre Dame?
I sure do.
Little guard who loved to shoot from the outside. Hoover now with this Athletes in Action team.
Indiana slipped out of Notre Dame with a one-point victory after Pat Garrity almost put it on him all by himself.
Garrity is back this year for a senior year, so we'll face him on December 3rd. There's a look at Guyton, Recker on the IU bench. This is an IU team, Ted, that can go deep as well. Maybe 8, 9, 10 deep this year. Something we haven't been able to do in a while.
I thought it was interesting last year, looking at the stats, I noticed there were at least 8 guys that had over double figures as far as minutes played, over 10 minutes a game. But I think this is a team with Luke Jimenez, Michael Lewis, with Recker, the young guys, definitely a team that coach is expecting at least 8 or 9, and hopefully even more than that to play.
Woods inside. He's their best offensive player. He's been limited tonight. Patterson has the rebound. Indiana tries to run again. The Athletes back quickly. Here's Richardson. Patterson on top.
Andre Patterson has got to take Cunningham. Andre Patterson, a much quicker player than Cunningham. Indiana needs to get the ball in his hands, let him either shoot the jump shot or drive to the basket.
Richardson misses on that shot. Under 10 minutes now, first half. Daniels in the corner. That's the shot Hoover would have taken last year. Cunningham now is trying to post, and that foul is going to go against Andre Patterson.
Got him with the push from behind. See, that's something Andre needs to recognize. I mean, if he's sitting on the bench here, he saw what type of jump shot that Cunningham's got. The place you don't want him to get the ball is when you're outside of him and he's inside. You can see Andre pushing, kind of kneeing him. That's fine to let him get the ball right there. He's not really going to do anything with it. He's not a guy that's a very good shooter anyway.
Here's Hoover open for three outside. He nails that one. And the lead is up to 15 points now for the Athletes in Action. Jimenez inside. Here's Patterson. Big step.
Andre's got to take that shot. When he goes across the lane, he's got to explode up. He's got to take that shot.
Patterson takes that one from the free throw line off. Scramble for it. Hoover comes away with it.
Indiana slow getting back again. Woods is going to get a layup.
3-on-1. Woods does. Lewis tried to take the charge. No call. Two more for the Athletes.
Good job by Ryan Hoover. Really set Indiana up. He brought it up the left side of the floor. He saw Woods the whole way.
Patterson inside, one dribble.
That's what he's got to do. He's an excellent back to the basket player. I don't know if he likes to play down in there, but he can score a lot of points down in there. He's very crafty. He can also get to the free throw line for Indiana.
Here's Woods. Little turnaround jumper coming back. He got that one over Richardson.
You can see the NBA part of them. They're big guys inside. Michael Lewis gets the ball taken away, something that will not make Coach Knight very happy.
Bryant Bond with that steal inside. Cunningham can hold it, and a turnover.
See, they had another excellent opportunity. Good pass by Hoover inside. Cunningham not able to come up with it. Indiana going to have to put a body in front of people as they're cutting to the basket. You take a look at the turnovers. Indiana really not turned the ball over much, but right now Athletes in Action doing an excellent job making all the shots that they're getting.
Patterson one dribble. Back to Turner. He got that shot blocked. Looked like he was going to try to pass that. He comes away with it. Jimenez. Turner, good shot fake, and he gets the jumper on the turnaround.
He's an excellent athlete. Got a little bit out of control right there. Look, Athletes in Action just run it right up the floor, get Indiana out of position, take it right to the basket. As soon as they get one guy out of position, then they just continue to throw it around the horn until one guy either decides to take the jump shot or he's going to take it to the basket. So he drives to the basket, gets one guy out of position. Now Indiana's in a recovery position. You can see Larry Richardson recovers out, gets some help inside, but it's too late. Woods, nice job taking the ball to the basket.
Woods good on that free throw.
And you would guess that a team that shoots over 40% from the free throw or the free three-point line is also going to be a very good free throw shooting team.
Hackham's back in. Woods has a second shot. And it's good. Indiana's down, and will they make a comeback? You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Indiana trails at 41-24, and remind you can go online with the Big Ten Conference and get stats and information on your favorite team and the Big Ten. The homepage is on the World Wide Web at www.big10.org.
Well, as I looked in the record book, I think that 118 is the most points that have ever been scored in Assembly Hall by an Indiana team. That record might go down tonight if we continue at this pace.
Look at the shooting percentage, and that's why 41 points already for the Athletes.
41 points, and there's over 7 minutes left in the first half. We're looking at 70 points in the first half if they continue at this pace.
Inside, Richardson, one dribble.
Good fake.
And the shot, good move there by Richardson.
That's where Larry Richardson needs to score his points. Does an excellent job with his back to the basket. Not a real good shooter facing up.
Again, quickly down by the Athletes. Here's Cunningham.
Better job by Indiana getting back. Now they get out of position right there.
Shot missed. Michael Lewis has it. Indiana on the break. Looking for Patterson to be the scorer in this group.
Well, they need to recognize that it's a 2-3 zone. They're trying to run the man-to-man. As I mentioned, Larry Richardson can't shoot, and he steps out and hits a three-pointer.
He does. without a problem. He airballed the one from 2 and then goes for a 3-pointer.
They looked up here.
You might be his hero.
Yeah,
huh?
that's.
He said, I'm going to do it.
I'll show you.
He
I can
did.
shoot. What are you talking about?
It cuts the lead to 12, as close as Indiana's been in a while. There's Lewis steps in, nearly steals it, and Lewis stepped on the line as he grabbed for it. He and Hoover battled for it.
Most importantly, he's all right. He kind of got jumped on the back of his legs there.
Now that board is panel there where it says the Indiana, the press row. That's not a wood or metal. That's a padded front there. So hopefully no injuries. There's Lewis. Looking for a good sophomore year. He worked on the weights, a lot stronger than he was last year. Steps in, back out to Hackham.
Pretty good recovery, but you can't give him any time. He can really bury it.
And that's another 3-pointer. Lead is 15. 12 now for Hackham, and he can score them quickly. Jimenez open.
But the thing is, they're in a zone here. Then Indiana, I don't know if they've totally recognized this. The guard out front needs to recognize this as Turner steps up. Not really the shot Indiana's looking for.
And again, down quickly. Hackham to Wood.
Great pass.
Keeps his pivot foot and scores around Patterson.
Wood did a nice job there of waiting to make the cut. As soon as the ball hit Hackham's hands, he makes the cut. Easy layup.
46-29.
Looks easy when it's done right.
Turner in the corner. Patterson tries to cut up from behind. That'd be the way to beat this zone. Is get on the baseline and come from behind, get it and shoot. Here it comes.
Right there, where Andre came right there. Great pass right there. Good cut by the two. I mean, Turner does a nice job of cutting in behind him after Andre has already split the seam. But you're exactly right. That's where you're going to beat the zone, from underneath it.
Inside again too easily. Colbert has it, and that opens the outside shot. Again, Lewis with the board. Down quickly.
Indiana with good numbers right here.
Richardson.
Oh, you got to take that one up. He had the chance. He had Wood on his hip, and he faked himself right out of a shot. Now watch Andre, how he's going to cut up underneath it. Now watch how Turner cuts underneath him after, but it was good timing. I mean, you have to have good timing. If Turner cuts too late or cuts too early, it's no good, but he waited until Andre had the ball and could make the pass.
You get that ball where Patterson, and you kill any zone because there's so many different options you have. Lewis goes down, and that'll be a foul. Wood ran into him, and Lewis picked up the charge.
Personal foul, athletes in action.
Delay there on who the call is going to be. That's his third foul. I mentioned he's the best player on this athlete's team, so he'll be out probably the rest of the half.
Look, it gives Indiana the opportunity to be able to go out on those shooters. I mean, when he's in the game, when Colbert's in the game, both of them are in there. Both of them can score inside. Indiana really has to drop in and help, and they're very good at if you do drop back in, they throw it back out and shoot threes.
Wood averages 16 and a half a game. Over 50% from the three-point line. So big offensive weapon now out. Lewis hits the first free throw.
We talked about Indiana being a very poor shooting team last year from the field, but from the free throw line, they did an outstanding job.
Turner comes away with it, in and out.
Great body control right there.
Here come the athletes, 3-on-2. Hoover.
That's travel. That's a travel. Yes, it is.
Steve Wilmer called that one.
But if you go back and look at that play, Indiana got out of position. Michael Lewis goes for the steal right down here in front of the bench of the athletes in action. As soon as he doesn't get that, now athletes in action, Ryan Hoover has the numbers, takes it up, and they almost get a layup because of it.
6 turnovers now for the athletes in action. Andre Patterson to the hoop. Tries to go over Cunningham, and he draws the foul. Andre on a mission there.
Yeah, you could see how he used his quickness right there. Cunningham, very big, very strong, and powerful down on the block, but he's a guy, Andre needs to take him to the basket and just take it right up right there. You need to take it right up into him. He does a nice job of faking, though. He gets the foul, has a chance to shoot 2 free throws.
Robbie Eggers, 32, checks in for Indiana. One of the 4 seniors on the team.
Andre has to recognize that right away. Who is guarding you? I mean, if Colbert's guarding you, it's a much different sequence right there. But when Cunningham is guarding you, you have to be able to, I mean, he's been sitting over there on the bench watching for the first 5 minutes. He has to recognize that and realize that when he comes into the game.
Richard Mandeville ready to check in. He'll be coming in for Patterson if he makes this free throw. So So Indiana really giving all the players a look here, all 12 that are dressed have now been in the game. 2 players on the team who have not dressed. Kirk Haston, number 35, he's a freshman, 6'10", from Lobelville, Tennessee. And Tom Geyer, 6'8", freshman from Lawrence North. They're both on the Indiana bench, dressed in street clothes.
Which would indicate to me there's a good possibility that they could redshirt. That has not been announced, so that is not official. We are just saying when that has happened in the past, a lot of times redshirt comes with it.
Could be an indication. Indiana trails now by 12.
Good defense by Luke Jimenez, doing a nice job putting a lot of pressure out on the ball.
Turning jump shot is off by Colbert. Mandeville went after that rebound.
Richard Mandeville really did a nice job of coming over and helping on Colbert that time, and because of it, he missed the shot.
Lewis open for 3. A little long, and Big Cunningham brings it down.
Yeah, that's what Michael Lewis does best, is he shoots the basketball. Last year, he wasn't a confident shooter. Great fake by Adderley, getting to the basket, and there's Colbert again.
And again, he got the second rebound to drop. No block out that time.
You've got to get a body on him each and every time. He's very quick to the basketball.
Boy, Eggers set a real pick on Adderley. There's a cut, Lewis. And he makes a tough shot there as he bounced off Colbert and got it to fall.
Michael Lewis, when he gets the open shot, is going to have to knock it down. That's the one thing. I mean, he's not going to get in and overpower people. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be quicker and stronger than he is, but he's going to have to make that shot when he has it.
Daniels, cross court.
Good job by Luke, coming right out, getting a body on him, making him going to drive.
Double team in the corner, and Eggers has the steal. 2-on-1, Turner back. Lewis gets it to Turner.
Tough pass.
Very well executed.
Very tough pass right there. Hackham really read it right, but didn't come up with the steal. Indiana forgets to play the defense, but they missed the 3.
Down 10, Daniels missed it. Lewis.
Good pass again.
Turner gets fouled. He'll be at the line. Indiana making a nice run.
I know Coach Knight had not been real happy in practice with some of Michael Lewis' passes, feeling like he wasn't reading the defense. I'm sure that tonight that's something he mentioned to him before the game because of it. But look how Jimenez gets out here, plays defense. Hackham is a shooter, not a driver, so he's going to make him drive. They throw it down in the corner, good double team. Nice job of coming down the floor and a good pass, tough pass. Only the bounce pass is the only pass that gets through there. Good read by Michael Lewis.
Indiana's within 10. The last time it was 23-14, so Indiana making a nice run with some good play by Jimenez and Lewis. And Eggers inside. Indiana's making their comeback. Let's see if they can do it by the halftime. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Back at Assembly Hall, where Indiana has closed the gap to 9. See good defense by Indiana. All started here by good individual defense by Luke Jimenez. Then he comes down, they knock the ball away. Good hands by Eggers, and then it's a 2-on-1 situation. A chest pass gets picked off. Only the bounce pass gets through. Good job by the Indiana group in there right now.
They came in at the 10-21 mark and have outscored the Athletes 21-16. They've cut this lead down to 9. Full court pressure. And Indiana has a chance to cut more into the lead.
Robbie Eggers, an excellent job of blocking out Colbert right there. A guy that's really killed Indiana on the boards. That time Eggers didn't care where the ball was going. He was going to block him out. The ball hit the floor, and he still got the rebound.
Eggers outside. Plenty of time to shoot. Here's Turner. Good passing here. It's a man-to-man defense by the Athletes. Mandeville outside, hits that jumper.
Richard Mandeville, 7 foot tall, but if you leave him open, that's the thing he probably does best and likes to do best is shoot the jump shot. We've got a problem here, so they've...
Scorers table has called Steve Welmer over.
Maybe they need a Coke break or something. What do you think?
Can't tell what that was all about. Steve Welmer, a good friend from Columbus, Indiana. 54. Was Cunningham, did not check in. And that could be a technical foul.
Coach Knight said, forget about it. Said, take it out of bounds. Let's go.
There we go.
It's an exhibition game. They're not worried about it. Coach Knight is not worried about shooting. Usually it would be a technical. Indiana would shoot 2 free throws and get the ball out of bounds.
All right, here we go. Under 2 minutes left, first half. Daniels gets bumped by Jimenez.
But a good job by Luke Jimenez. He continues to put a lot of pressure on outside. Daniels very strong, but until you get that first call, you continue to put that pressure on. I mean, that's kind of the way Quinn Buckner used to play defense out there. You know, really body up to them until they call on you once or twice. Continue to do it because it's a real pain if you're handling the ball out there to have somebody leaning on you.
There's Steve Wilmer talking to Chuck Badger. Speaking of Quinn Buckner, he's back in town a little bit, Ted. He'll be doing some color commentary on the Pacer games. So it's good to have him back with some Indiana ties.
A couple Boston boys there with the Pacers, Buckner and what's that other guy's name?
Larry Bird.
Oh, that's right.
No truth to the rumor, Ted, that he's after your job here as color commentator at Indiana University, though. I don't want you to get the wrong idea, all right? My old buddy Ted. All right, here we go. Indiana now down 9, minute and a half to go first half.
Good fake by Robbie Eggers right there. Not a real good shot, but he got it. Oh, I thought he was going to get it to fall.
Colbert comes away with it. It's a good athlete team. Great test for Indiana after just 18 days of practice.
You see, Daniels' job is really to run the ball up the floor. Adderley and Hackham really go down the floor and set up in the corners, get ready for the three-point shot.
Mandeville with the rebound, 1 minute to go. Indiana down by 9. Mandeville.
That's a good shot for him.
He makes it.
I mean, you have to look at the guys on the floor. Eggers not really a shooter. He's a guy in there to screen, to play defense and rebound. The guys that are in there against a zone to score points, you know, Richard Mandeville's got to be a guy that steps up.
Good spot up jump shooter, and that's where he got it. Kicked out of bounds.
Defense has really improved, and a lot of it has to do with that guy out front. I know I've mentioned it about 3 times, but when the guy out front starts playing harder, everybody around him starts playing harder.
34 seconds left, and the shot clock is now off, so the athletes in action could wait for the last shot. I would say that's not typical for their style of offense, but let's see what they do.
I imagine they'll take the first good shot that comes their way, although Adderley has pulled it out a little bit.
They're going to have the lead going into the locker room at the half, and they will wait for the last shot.
See, he'll try to get some penetration here. Good hands to knock that ball away.
And Eggers
on the floor. Good quick hands by Luke Jimenez to knock that ball away. Indiana a little unfortunate they couldn't come up with that ball. Would have been a big turnover with only 7.6 seconds left in the half.
Eggers tipped that one, and again he hustled it.
Wow.
You got to watch it there in the crowd. He'll knock you down there if you're in his way. Good job, and Eggers gets a good hand. 20-second timeout. This 20-second timeout is brought to you by McDonald's. This 20-second timeout is brought to you by Speece.
McDonald's.
Make up your mind, Laz. It's by McDonald's. Luke Recker from DeKalb High School holds his high school point scoring record, 2,008 points.
Yeah, they're handing you cards, you know, you're trying. We knew it was McDonald's.
There's a good look at Robbie Eggers. He's
Robbie
played well.
Eggers, he has been a good player, and he's really a spark coming in there and doing a nice job.
4 seconds left. Athletes go for one last shot.
What a play by Turner.
Turner nearly stole it.
Jumped up, picked it off, and almost was able to throw it back in bounds. Hit Mandeville with it.
Jumper is off at the buzzer.
Good defense by that Indiana group.
We've come to the first half. It's 50-43, but this second group really came on strong. Halftime at Assembly Hall. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Tonight put the kind of the second group. There's not really a first or second group yet, but they did a much better job defensively, put a lot more pressure on the ball. Athletes in Action only scored 9 points in the last 7 minutes.
Defense will be the key here in the second half. Now let's take a look at our halftime stats brought to you by Citizens Insurance, going above and beyond.
Well, Indiana only shooting 49%, but after shooting 43 last year, I guess that's an improvement. That's something we should look for. Did a nice job getting to the line. You can see the Athletes in Action, excellent shooting team, 11 for 11. Rebounding pretty even, although Athletes in Action a little bit of an edge right there. Bench scoring, Indiana coming off the bench with 25 points from Indiana's bench.
Take a look at our first half scoring leaders. Culver did a nice job inside.
He was a real thorn in Indiana's side. He got a lot of those points on second shot attempts. He did a nice job getting on the board. Hackham, a three-point shooter. Wood got in foul trouble, and that really hurt the Athletes in Action. For Indiana, Gladness and Turner, both junior college guys getting in there, but some nice passes from Michael Lewis to set up Turner.
There's a good look at Gladness, 6'8", 220. See what he can do here in the second half. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Indiana finishing their warm-up, and we're about ready to start second half action. Let's a good report on Charlie Miller. Let's take a look again at his injury.
Charlie Miller, you can see he hits the back of his head, thank goodness. Most of that was, he hit the support, and it is padded, but we did get a report, and it was 4 stitches to the back of the head. He's got a new headband, he's back, and we did hear that he will play.
Good recovery by Charlie. Glad to hear it's not.
That shows some toughness right there. I mean, this is a team looking for some toughness. I think something like that from one of the older guys wanting to get back out there and play is something that Coach Knight's looking for.
Chuck Badger, the coach of the Athletes in Action, very pleased with his team first half scoring 50 points.
I'll tell you what, he looks like he ought to be in high school. I wish I looked that young.
They have been averaging 87 points a game. Coach Knight looking at that first half stat sheet as well.
It'll be interesting to see if this Indiana team learned anything. I think the one thing they should have learned from the first half, that Indiana defense is going to win games for you. Nice job by Andre Patterson taking it to the basket right away. Early on, Indiana came out and thought they were going to just match AIA shot for shot. And they soon found out that wasn't going to happen. People win championships playing defense.
6 now for Andre. Indiana's cut the lead to 5.
I feel kind of bad saying that, not being a defensive specialist myself.
Yeah. Tell me about the 81 team. How did that happen?
Well, we had a lot of other good players on there, thank goodness.
Adderley with a jumper. He's got good form on that big, strong guy. He nails that one.
He does a nice job of squaring up to the basket no matter what the circumstances. He big shoulders, and he really squares up. AJ got to come to the basketball right there. He was open, but Adderley wanted the ball worse.
3 on 2. Hackham with a jumper. Boy, that is a good-looking jump shot. He stopped on the dime, went straight up.
He's got great form. The ball has wonderful rotation on it. Just a great shooter. AJ really has not been involved in the offense.
Patterson tries to steal that from behind. He tipped it out of bounds.
AJ most effective for Indiana when he's either moving to the basket or looking for jump shots. People having to jump out at him using his quickness. Right now, he's just kind of a guy out there dribbling the basketball around and not really making any type of move to the basket.
Larry Richardson checks in for Patterson. Step out by Mandeville. Gets it back to Wood. Good drive. He ducks that head, goes left-handed all the way to the hoop.
He's a smart player. You can see he gets one big step. Once he got around Mandeville, he just continued to slowly move to the basket, and he got all the way in for a layup.
12 now for Wood. Little jump hook. Oh, Richardson just fell off the rim. Looks a lot more confident inside with that quick move.
Culver did a nice job contesting the jump shot.
Hackham pinned on the baseline. He got rid of it. And steal, Mandeville.
Pick it up. You're never going to make it.
He got slipped in. Daniel slipped right in behind the big guy.
Never going to make it all the way to the other end. He'd have been a lot better just getting the ball and picking it up. Oh, just a bad pass.
Richardson, a long
Richardson.
pass, and it goes out of bounds.
There's no way that Rob Turner can catch up to that one.
Robbie Eggers will check back in. He had a good first half. There's a good look at Turner. Look how strong he is, upper body strength there. Here comes Eggers for Mandeville.
See Coach talking to Mandeville. He's telling him you make an outstanding defensive play. You knock the ball away, you get it in your hands. Take one dribble, pick the ball up, and give it to somebody that knows what they're doing with it out there as far as dribbling.
Good move, Colbert on the baseline. That was a very quick first step.
Very quick first step. Michael Lewis is right in good position. He has got to get over there and take that charge.
Lead is up to 13. Now back to 10. Rob Turner hits a three-pointer from the outside.
One of those you like to see go in after one pass taking a three, but as long as they go in, it's a good shot.
Colbert, good double team by Lewis. And Eggers comes to help.
Yeah, good job of recovering back to Wood, seeing where the defense is, or the offense is, and doing a nice job. You can see very, very strong. Their guard play is outstanding.
Adderley jumped right over Eggers for his 13th point.
And if you remember, Wood was on the bench at the end of the half because he got in foul trouble. When he's in the game, they're a much stronger team because they can score both inside and outside.
A.J. Guyton outside for three is off.
So I think he's somebody for Indiana that has to look for shots.
Colbert. Again, great first step. Wood gets the roll.
That's two in a row. He puts up there very, very soft. Doesn't look like the quickest guy in the world, but he has a very good first step, gets by you, and he's all the way to the basket.
14 for Wood, and that is the lead the athletes in action have now over Indiana. Turner, this three is short, a little better guarded that time. Here's Daniel.
He got by with one, but that one wasn't a very good shot either.
Air ball, good defense by Richardson as he bothered that shot.
Hackham got caught in the middle. Somebody jumped at him and he didn't have anybody to throw it to as Indiana closed the gap there.
Here's Richardson on the baseline. Again, in and out. These are good shots Indiana's taken.
What you're seeing here, I think, Coach Knight, the first half, he had Guyton in there with Collier, some of the other people. Now this half, he's got Guyton in there with Larry Richardson, Robbie Eggers, so he's kind of mixed the front courts and the back courts from half to half.
Turner inside, tries to go over Wood, and the ball just on the rim, and Richardson gets the call for goaltending. Indiana still trying to make their comeback. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. 13, still a long way to go. 12-5 run here in the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and that would be since the start of the second half. Take a look at Wood on that drive.
Take a look at David Wood. You can see he just has an excellent first step right here. Mandeville gets out of position right here. He takes one good step, and you can see he can use both hands very, very well.
That's why he was in the NBA last year. Has chosen, though, to stay with his athletes in action team.
Indiana back with a much different lineup than left the floor.
Jimenez, Recker, Collier, Patterson, and Michael Lewis in there now for the Hoosiers.
And I think Luke Jimenez was really the difference in the first half, really putting a lot of pressure on the point.
Wood, again, he drives to the left so well, even though he's a right-handed player. Collier comes away with it.
Better defense, a great step in by Luke Recker. That way Woods could not get all the way to the basket, and that was the difference right there. You got to do a little better job of reading the defense. He saw the open man, but he didn't look at the defense.
Tipped out of bounds back to Indiana, though. There's Recker. DeKalb High School.
You have to know they'll be in a 2-3 out of this.
On the out-of-bounds play. Indiana will see that a lot this year.
Oh, you got to be ready to take that shot. Good job.
He hesitated just a second, then put it up.
Good pass by Michael Lewis. As soon as the wingman comes out, Andre pops out. You get it down to him. He's got a little 10-footer right there, and that's one of the shots you got to make against the zone.
Wood was thinking about taking that shot. Indiana's trying to step up the pressure on defense. Look how far Recker's out on Adderley. Big, strong move inside as he goes over Patterson.
Indiana did hack him a little bit on the arm as the athletes in action bench up wanting that. Good pass right there.
And then Patterson goes back outside. Lewis hits that three-pointer.
That's what Michael Lewis was known for in high school. He was a great shooter, led the state in scoring a couple years ago, but a good pass by Andre Patterson looking opposite against the zone.
6 now for Lewis. Good dish by Daniels. Adderley had to fall back a little more than he wanted. That was Recker with some pressure.
Recker should be able to put a little bit more pressure on Adderley with his added height.
Collier.
Good hands by Collier. That was a tough pass inside. Very hard, soft hands by Jason Collier. Coming up, quick turn and shoot.
Indiana trails by 9. Jimenez with the pressure. Tipped by Recker. Adderley regains possession. Daniels' three-pointer is off.
Good pressure again by Luke Jimenez.
Oh, Michael Lewis ran right into Adderley.
A little bit out of control, but doing a nice job keeping the ball in the middle of the floor. I think he was going to try and get the ball to Andre Patterson to his left. You can see he's doing a good job of seeing the floor. He's taking the ball up the middle, and Patterson was to his left, and right before he got ready to throw it. 1st and 10.
Brian Hoover, 14 in. Bryant Bond, 23 in.
Take a look right here. You can see he runs right. Adderley, a pretty strong guy right there. He's got some good pipes on him right there. He knocked Michael Lewis right down.
6'1", 180 is Lewis. He's back up and ready to go. Patterson, he's looking for the shot.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets that one. You know, that's what he looked like at Madison Square Garden against Duke. He just kept wanting that ball and wanted to score. He had that look right there.
I think what you said in the opening about consistency is a real key for Andre Patterson. You see him down on the block. When he gets the ball down here, he can't think about anything except scoring. You can see good shot fake. He gets hammered right there. He throws it up there, gets the roll, has a chance for a three-point play, but he has to expect that out of himself each and every night.
Good look at the senior from Abilene, Texas. Hits the three-point play and has cut the lead now to 6. Whistle has stopped play.
He wants
and
a
20-second timeout. Athletes in Action have called for a 20-second timeout. And this one will be brought to you by Speece.
Are you
See
sure?
if I got it. There it is.
Hey,
There it is.
How about that?
These are the Big Ten rebound leaders from last year. Smith from Michigan State. And again, Patterson at 11th. Indiana needs to move up that list.
Yeah, Indiana usually has somebody in that top 10. Not that it was ever me, but in Indiana going to have to do a little bit better job rebounding this year. Last year they pretty much were even throughout the year.
Good look at Andre. 11 points. Only 1 rebound, but I think his job today will be to get Indiana back on top of this game. It doesn't look like they're going to do it with defense. They're going to have to outscore this team.
We looked back at the 74-75 team. We saw that they had out-rebounded their opponents by about 400 rebounds. Is that because Greeno was such a big rebounder? He was always thinking about rebounding and defense?
It's not right to pick on a guy who's not here to defend himself, and I defer that until he's in our presence.
All right.
There's some more defense, although Lewis got caught there for a slap.
But good defense by Indiana. Much more aggressive, much more of what we saw at the end of the first half. You see Michael Lewis gets a slap, but I don't think you'll see Coach Knight jump up off the bench right there. Indiana playing much more aggressive, the type of defense they're going to have to play.
Still a very young group in the game. Patterson is a senior. Jimenez, Collier, and Lewis sophomores. Recker is a freshman. So a very young group in the lineup now. That ball will stay in possessions of the athletes.
See, they're looking to double as soon as it comes into that corner. Better job by athletes getting it back out there where they can move around with it a little bit.
You're right up on Wood.
Woods is a guy they really like to use him to get their offense started, whether it be him shooting the ball.
Tough shot by Hoover. Boy, Colbert really stays after it out of bounds.
Good job by both teams right there. Both teams going after it. They're tipping it, going after it. Colbert finally steps on the inline. Indiana gets it.
Chance to cut that lead to 4 or 3. As Lewis wasn't looking, the ball came into him, though. All right, man-to-man defense. Collier posting up.
Gotta hit that one.
And he does. Good shot.
Jason Collier feels more confident when he takes that shot this year because he feels confident that Coach Knight wants him taking that shot. Last year, I think he was a little uncertain at 7 foot whether or not he was really supposed to take that.
Wood outside. That's the old set shot from way back, and this one counts 3 points. The lead is 7 now for the Athletes. Inside, Recker pulls it right back out. Thought about the shot. Quick pass is tipped away by Hackham. Indiana still trails it by 7. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN Plus. Eleven and a half minutes to go. Indiana trails it by 7. Take a look at the field goal shooting. Very good, really, from both teams. Take a look at Jason Collier.
Take a look at Jason Collier. Goes down, does a nice job V-cut. That's what you're talking about, setting up your man. You can see Wood loses him. Collier does a nice job squaring himself to the basket. And as I said, I think he feels very confident and secure in taking that shot this year.
Indiana ball out of bounds. Recker on the drive. Gladness in at that last timeout. Bounced that one off his foot.
Well, it was good movement, though. Good pass inside by Luke Recker. Good catch by Gladness. He tries to go to the basket and he dribbled it right off one of those size 12s.
Good quick step there by Bond. Hoover off on that 3. Patterson has it.
Good hands for Andre Patterson to even come up with that ball.
Slow it down now as Indiana sets. Motion offense. Gladness. Just held that foot.
Got to score in there.
Turn, shoots. In and
That's
out.
a good shot, though. That's the shot Indiana wants. He'll hit that about 70% of the time from that distance.
Bryant Bond on the dribble. Pretty quick out there. Here's Hackham.
He's got to stay with Wood. He slipped away. He'll hit that.
Switch was called, but not heard, and left Wood open for a 3-pointer. Indiana trails it by 10 now. Half-court trap. Gladness to the hole. Got his rebound, and he got fouled from behind. Actually, Hoover backed up into him on the shot.
I think Coach Knight's thinking that he got fouled the first time when he went in there. A lot of bodies on the floor, and because of it, Ryan Hoover ends up getting called for the foul. Take a look at the switch on the other end. Andre Patterson loses his man, but then he never recovers back to him. Nobody has him. Wood does a nice job of drifting into the open spot, knocks down the 3. That's 2 big 3-pointers he's hit.
There's David Wood. Played his college ball at Nevada, graduated in '87. This is his first year, though, with the Athletes in Action team.
It's really been a difference as far as the Athletes in Action. As we mentioned, it really gives them more of an inside-outside game. As you see, he's got 20 points, 3 rebounds. When he's out of the game, Colbert is much more just a guy that can stay down on the block, where Woods can really drift around. He can hit the jump shot, but he can also take it inside on the dribble.
Gladness, pretty soft touch there for a big guy. And that's what I mean right there.
Twice he's got the roll tonight off the second free throw.
Nice showing in his first game as a Hoosier. Good step out by Patterson. And he stole it, passed it into AJ. Gladness fell down in the 3-second lane.
That's where Gladness is going to have to learn to give the ball up. He's used to getting it on the wing. He wants to go one-on-one, but against teams like that, you see they bury the 3.
Bryant Bond, 6'4", nails that 3-pointer, a 42% shooter.
Gladness catches the ball on the wing. He's wanting to drive each and every time. The defense is not giving that. Turner has to give the ball up.
Turner thought about it and then changed his mind. Guyton on a dribble, comes up short, and Hoover comes away with it.
TJ Guyton not really in the flow of the game, especially offensively.
Drake Colbert checks back in for the Athletes, and Wood will sit down. Colbert's also had a good game. Coach Knight on the IU bench. 20 points now for Dave Wood, above his average. Hoover caught an elbow. Winston Payne for a second, but he's back. Here's Daniels.
Good defense by Luke Recker, getting back, not giving an easy shot up to Ryan Hoover.
You don't have to block the shot, but just make sure the guy misses it. That's what Recker did.
Really put a hand in his face, contest it. Great inside move right there, very, very quick.
Set up with the fake to the left, came right back. Gladness has 12 points now.
Indiana continues to get close, but they can't seem to get the lead.
Patterson tipped that one away.
Good call right there. Andre got his fingertip on it, knocked it away. If not, it was an easy layup.
Adderley checks back in.
Last year, this is the point in the game where Indiana would lose. You can see it right here. Andre not in a very good position. You're up high. You can see he gets just a fingertip on it, or that's an easy layup for Colbert.
Mandeville checks in for Andre. He's got 11 points. 8.5 minutes left in the game. Indiana trails by 9. Good double team. Comes way back outside.
Adderley open. He buried it.
This is a great three-point shooting team.
Well, they never get in a hurry. They're very confident that there's plenty of time for the shots. They're going to get good shots.
Gladness, he's triple teamed and fouled. Daniels came back to help, and he gets called for the foul.
He's going to have to learn to give that ball up. When you got 2 or 3 guys on you, there's got to be somebody open. I mean, he's doing an excellent job of opening things up, but here Indiana gets out of position. As soon as they get out of position, Athletes in Action do nothing but have Indiana running to recover, and that time they weren't able to recover to Adderley as he buries the three-pointer.
Timberlake comes out as they put Wood back in the game. Richard Mandeville in for Indiana. Turner trying to post up inside. Recker outside. Missed everything.
It's a good shot, but he just threw it over everything.
Daniels set his sights. Now goes to Colbert. Gladness steps in for the steal. Turner brings it up. All the way.
Oh, he's quick and really hang in the air. Nobody back for Indiana. Guyton able to get back. Watch him use his strength right here.
Adderley spin move, and foul will be on Turner.
See, they didn't leave Wood on the bench very long. He was on the bench for about 1 minute. He's already back in there, but Adderley does a nice job right here. Watch him use his strength. He doesn't get in a hurry. He doesn't try to take a bad shot. He says, I've got a guy that I outweigh by about 30 pounds in Guyton right here. I'll just take him in, use my strength, and if I don't make it, I'll probably get a really free throw.
He'll get 2 shots. Guyton's first foul. Adderley's good on that first. He played at Assumption College, graduated in '92. Second year with the team. Recker comes out.
Kind of had that assumption.
Well, you always got to keep one ear on Ted as he's describing the action. He missed. Gladness gets that rebound. Gladness inside.
Vanderbilt did a nice job in the first half.
Gets called there as he backed in to try to get position.
Yeah, they're going to call that foul on him, but that's a tough one.
You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Back in Assembly Hall where Indiana trails 77-64. Let's take a look at that last foul. Mandeville tries to get some position. If you look on the right side of your screen, watch Mandeville steps in right there. You know, there's going to be a lot of bumping and banging going on right there, but you can see how he really stepped in there. And the other thing you have to understand, there's a referee standing right behind you. You just can't do things like that. Yeah, you're going to get bumped harder than that during the game, but you can't do it in front of the referee. He's going to call it on you.
There's the three-point shooting, 9 3-pointers. They average just over 10 a game. So the athletes right on their average. They lead by 13. A blocking foul. Adderley inside gets called. Trying to set the pick.
We got 7 minutes left. We talked about conditioning. We talked about mental toughness. This is the place last year, as I mentioned in the opening. Indiana 7-5 in games that were won by less than 5 points last year. Not a very good record in close games. So let's see if Indiana can use some of that new conditioning to get themselves back in this game.
Gladness had that one stripped after he got the ball inside. 10 turnovers now for Indiana.
Indiana needs to talk a little bit better defensively. A lot of times there are screens there. You got to yell out to your guard that there's a screen coming. Some of them end up getting their head taken off.
Colbert really fight for that position inside. Eggers picks up the foul. Andre Patterson will check in for Eggers. 6:22 left. And see what Andre can do to get Indiana back in this game. Good double team. Lewis comes to help. Leaves Hoover open, and he hits that three from the outside. And that is their 10th three-point shot made.
Indiana finds himself down by 16. After they had pulled it to within 2, I think, at one point in time.
Kick that time, resets the shot clock. Patterson slipped out of his hands.
That's a ball Andre Patterson's got to catch. I mean, Indiana wanting to get the ball in the hands of Andre Patterson. Michael Lewis makes a good pass right there. Andre not able to come up with a good pass.
Hoover, a good look to the weak side, and Andre's going to pick up that foul. Too easy to drive right down the middle, and that sets up the pass.
When Indiana was putting a lot of pressure on the ball, not letting the ball get to the middle of the floor, they were having a lot more success.
Colbert's had a big game.
Problems Indiana had, you remember last year when Indiana played a team like Illinois, who had Kewan Garris, who could really handle the ball, control the tempo of the game. He kind of just dribbled wherever he wanted to. In the past, some of the better Indiana teams can easily make you dribble the ball where you don't want to dribble the basketball. Tonight, athletes in action have pretty much taken it where they wanted to.
The lead is up to 18 points now, 5.5 minutes left.
You know, the offense gets real tight to the lane. They need to keep it high and keep it wide. Even though it's late in the game, to score points, you're going to create more openings.
Shot clock's at 6. Turner missed it, and out of bounds it goes to the athletes.
And he falls asleep right there. You can see Turner should have picked that ball off. They threw it the full length of the court.
Adderley inside to Colbert. Gladness pulls that one down, and he flipped it outside, and Hoover knocked it out of bounds. 5 minutes left. And this has been a good test for Indiana. Coach had mentioned before the game he wasn't concerned with winning and losing, but finding out where he was with this team after 18 days.
I always felt like I learned more when I won than when I lost.
But you always saw more film of a game you lost than a game you won. Is that right?
I didn't like watching film because that usually meant that we lost.
That's
so
right.
I was the kind of guy that I kind of like to win. tone of voice seemed to be a little different too.
4-on-2 and a foul from behind. Hoover slaps Lewis. Recker and Guyton will check back in. Collier will check in. Check and see. Hoover's picked up his 4th foul. Let's see what the lineup will be now.
Patterson and Lewis stay.
Indiana.
Patterson, Lewis, Recker, Guyton, Collier. See, Wood did a nice job right there. Collier had pretty good position. Wood took it right away from him.
Collier inside. Recker in and out.
Got to make that one. That was a big one.
Adderley comes back with it.
Good look by Jason, though.
Oh, tough shot. Adderley moved that ball to the right to avoid the block.
He can really get up, too. When he needs to, he can really get up in the air, and Indiana trails by 20.
21 for Adderley. He's been the difference in the game. Only averaging 12 a game, well over that tonight. Lewis on the baseline. Hoover fouled him from behind.
Well, there's a lot of things they have to work on. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Ellenberger has to say after the game as far as what type of things they have been working on so far, what type of things they feel like they need to work on. Obviously, defense and controlling, controlling the man defensively individually is something that they had trouble with last year, and it continues to get their defense in trouble here tonight.
Coach Knight visiting with Lewis and Recker. As we wait for these free throws, Lewis then goes to the line. Bob Knight, one of only 3 active coaches with 700 wins. He achieved that last year. And only 1 out of 10 in all NCAA history to achieve that milestone of 700 victories. Lewis hits the first. Charlie Miller is reported could play here in the second half. He hasn't been used, but after that bump, he received some stitches and ready to play. Indiana trails it big. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Now for our Synergy Power Player of the Game, brought to you by Synergy, the power behind PSI Energy, and it goes to David Wood. He had 20 points, a real leader for this team. And
definitely the difference. He was the difference tonight. You take a look at him right here. In the first half, he got in foul trouble here. He takes that set shot, 3-pointer, but he's buried a number of them against Indiana as they go long. Culver going to get the easy layup.
Long pass, and he did. Set up. That was Wood with the trigger pass all the way down as Indiana went to full court pressure.
Somebody for Indiana has got to be back. You cannot let the ball go all the way over your head. Right there, a tough passing angle and an awful long pass right there. You need to take a dribble into the defense and throw a bounce pass down inside. Andre had good position.
Indiana way outside. Collier spins on the baseline. Shot just off.
Luke Recker in there fighting for that rebound. Had good position, couldn't come up with it.
Double team. Indiana now trapping all over the floor. And that's Hackham. Loves that three-point shot. Hits it from the outside. 14 for Landon Hackham. Good move by Guyton. He held on, found the defense was clearing out, and got the jump shot.
I don't know if he's just trying to give everybody else a chance to score, but he really has not even looked for the basket. That's only about the 3rd shot he's taken all night, and one of them, I think, was as the shot clock was running down early in the game. You got to remember, this is a guy that scored 30 against Michigan last year. He hit for big numbers against Purdue in some really Big Ten games, and I think that he'll be there when the time is right.
Nation offense, now a steal. Collier's in front of the pack. And he gets the layup without a dribble.
Nice job. He didn't have the dunk, so he went ahead and just laid it in. They all count the same.
12 now for Collier.
Wood never does anything too quickly. You know, he just kind of goes at his own pace, but he's, you know, just really keeps you off balance. You can never really sit down in there. He's just very, very smart, knows what he can do. Very difficult for Collier to handle here tonight.
Cuts to the hoop. He beat Collier. Over the head pass. Under 2 minutes now. And now the athletes in action finally slow it down and force Collier to make the foul outside. Let's take a look now at our key play of the game, sponsored by KeyBank. Key for a New America. Again, we go back to David Wood.
He's been the key here tonight. Indiana, Jason Collier hit a jump shot to get Indiana to within 4 points. Wood comes back down. You can see he thought it was an awfully big three. It ended up being a big three, and that they went out to the big lead. Indiana had gotten it all the way down to 4. Now it's back up to 20.
It's 1 of 2 there. Collier inside. There's the running hook and gets the roll.
Good foot movement right there. He really was able to catch the ball. He didn't have to do anything with it other than just put it right down on the floor. Or, excuse me, just catch it and put it right up against the board there.
Lewis with the foul, stops the clock. Indiana went to full court pressure there. Ron Felling has changed positions this year. He's moved up to administrative assistant for the IU program. And also want to mention our new coaches, Mike Davis, who coached at Alabama these last 2 years. He's now on the Indiana bench. And also John Triolor spent 6 years in the CBA. Craig Hartman, there you see Craig. He's moved up to the top assistant position. There's Triolor there next to Gladness. And Mike Davis right next to Mandeville. We'll talk more about those assistant coaches as the year progresses. They've done a great job in working with this young team. Pass off Wood. Lewis comes away with it. 10 seconds to shoot. Recker on the shot fake. And his jumper can't go. Indiana's had a lot of shots just bounce off that rim. Patterson. It's knocked away. Number 40, Jason Taylor checks in for the athletes in action. From Chico State, graduate of '92. And Hackham comes out. Guyton in the corner. Wood steps right in.
He read that all the way, knew they wanted to get the ball down into Patterson. He just kind of played a little zone right in there, and as soon as they threw it down in, stepped over. Well, Indiana got off to a very fast start last year. Maybe this is a positive from finishing strong this year. What do you think, Gladness?
Lots to learn. I think Coach is right. He's going to use this as they progress onward. A week from Friday, the first game is at Temple. And you know that'll be a big challenge for Indiana.
I think everybody has to be very impressed. I thought Gladness did a nice job coming in there. Turner can do some good things. He's a very good athlete. I thought Luke Recker came in, did a nice job for Indiana. So young guys finally got to get in there, a little game experience.
Lewis off on that shot. And a foul. Taylor picks that foul up, and that'll put Lewis on the line. But it's a nice mix, I think, for Indiana. 4 seniors, 2 junior college transfers, a freshman coming in, as well as some other returning players. Last time Indiana brought some junior college players in, '87. Keith Smart and Dean Garrett went on to win the national championship. That one rolled in for Mike Lewis. And now down to the 10-second mark. Daniels stepped out of bounds. Indiana will have it. A little better job on defense, if you could say such a thing. 50 first half points for the Athletes, 42 here in the second half. But way too many points allowed by Indiana.
There were big spurts for him. There were many times as Recker steps out, he shows he can also shoot the three-pointer as time basically run out with 3.3 seconds.
Foul called on the inbounds play. 2 seconds left. That one goes on Recker. And Daniels will get some free throws. Stay with us and schedule.
At the free throw line, number
54 is Cunningham. He comes back in as Wood leads. He's got some kind of horn that he's like a horn. Blew, some of the players who introduced, he blew that horn. That's maybe some kind of lucky charm for him.
Sure was tonight. Maybe he's the guy who kind of likes to toot his own horn. What do you think?
I don't know. We'll research that and get back to you, Ted. All right. And that's going to be it. 94-77. The Athletes in action have won here in Bloomington as the players meet on the floor to congratulate each other. Well.